Hey everyone, it's Dorcas and welcome back to my channel. It is Saturday afternoon and because for some miraculous reason I have nowhere to be today, I thought that I would do a little desk tour and show you where I keep and store my stationery and art supplies and organize that along with you. So my desk is a little bit of a hot mess right now. I mean, it's not too bad, but I will show you where I keep my things, where I'm typically working from, and then I'll do a little kind of time lapse of me putting my things away. So I will quickly turn this camera around so I can show you what I am usually looking at when I'm sitting here doing these videos, and then we will get to sorting things through. All right, so this is my little creative corner in the house. This is a desk that my boyfriend had made and installed for me. I will go into the drawers in a second, but to start, floating shelves were also by him. I designed the whole thing and then he made it happen. So at the very top, I have plants. I usually keep jars. I usually keep flowers in those little tiny jars up there. I'm planning to add a framed art print at some point and just prop it up there as well. In the middle here, I have some tiny art prints that a friend had made for me like a good 10, 15 years ago. I have some creative books that have beautiful covers, as well as my Instax mini camera. Over here, I have some just creative art supplies. I have my brushes. I have I keep some stamps over in that jar, some rubber stamps, and then just kind of little figurines and trinkets. Over here, I have, let's see, I have another jar for flowers. I have some wee jars that I use for paint water. And then I have my little Lou portrait that I got at the San Francisco Pen Show, and just other little things that people have given me or I've bought. Just again, um, just colorful items that bring me joy. In here, I have my little notebooks. I have my washi swatch book over there all the way at the left. I have a Stalogy notebook that I used as my bullet journal long ago, and then just notebooks, my ink swatch book, my Passport TN, other cute little jars and trinkets. Over here, it's all messy, but bear with me. I have just a assortment of Hobonichi notebooks, some sketchbooks, my regular size TN. That is my sticker storage. This is my DIY sticker release book. And then just another little sketchbook that I had made back during the pandemic. A little jar where I keep enamel pins. This is my Toyuka craft box where I keep my fountain pens. Um, this is the hot mess that I have to sort through. A bunch of ink samples that I got recently and that I made to give away. And then a jar of water. And all of the tech stuff. I got a new external hard drive for my YouTube videos. And yeah, just little jars and tin cans full of like nibs and washi tape and just kind of other tools that I reach for regularly. Now, that's my desktop and the shelves, which I love looking at this every day. It just makes me so happy. In here, let me move this out the way. Oh, and also this chair we got at Home Depot. And it's one of those chairs that you can sit cross-legged if you lower that, but I typically leave it at that height so that I can just put my feet flat on that platform, and it's really comfortable. Okay, so push this out. In here I keep rubber stamps, and then I usually put in extra, stickers or folders of stickers that I don't need to reach for regularly. So we're going to organize this as well as the ink pads. And then here is usually my workspace. Now the way this works is I pull this out and then this folds down. And then this is kind of where I put my laptop, or if I am just watching something, my laptop stays up there. And then I am working, journaling, sampling inks, what have you, on this surface. And then usually at the end of the day, what happens is if I do not have time to just organize, I will just stuff everything in here and then close this back up and then tuck it away. Then no one's the wiser. So what I'm going to do is, oh, I forgot to also tell you that down there is my planner tote. It's a little dark, but that's where I keep just some tote bags that I want to access quickly, as well as overflow of stickers. That is a kind of art little roll-up toolkit. And yeah, and so usually if there's no space up here and I don't want to store it in my craft cabinets, that's where it ends up. And then sometimes this platform also holds things that I want to easily reach and don't want to go all the way down there for. So we're going to go through this and hopefully it'll look a lot more sane. Now, I am going to give you a quick tour of my cabinets so that you can see where the other stuff gets stored. So in the other side of the living room is this kind of bookcase IKEA hack that, again, I dream it, he helps make it happen. But I did do a lot of work on that thing. So these are 9 different IKEA pieces that we just combined. And so it looks like one solid piece. It is, I think it's the Billy bookcase. And then I forgot the names of the cabinets that we attached the bookcase to, but I will find it and link it in the description below. But the bookcase obviously houses books and just other things that, clock and my little globe. And then it's also kind of become a catch-all when we bring in mail. It kind of just stays over there until we sort it away. But what I like and what I had wanted is a space to, display things that I love, have it be out in the open, but also have things behind closed doors. So behind door number 1, and again, I'm sorry for the lighting, our window of daylight is getting very low. And so here is where I keep my clear drawers. So that's where I have my washi tapes as well as, markers, Tombos, pens, brush pens, etc. And you can't really see it because it is being covered up by all of the inks that I have acquired over the past few months. Over there on the left is stacks of ink samples, and then bottles of inks again that I've acquired since this summer. And then the washi is overflowing, so you'll see little bits of washi tucked here and there. And yeah, so this is mostly kind of my stationery supply corner. Down below is more overflow washi. This is kind of where I keep my duplicates, and then the ones that I don't reach for regularly, just other stickers and supplies. These are the majority of my pencil pouches, stickers, and then if I go all the way to the back, there are covers there, and then my old journals are back there. So again, it's a bit of a mess, but the stuff that's back there are things that I don't really reach for on the regular. And then if I go to the cabinet here, these are my art supplies and other things that I couldn't find space for. So those are my sketchbooks, watercolor pads, rhodia paper, things for calligraphy. These are old sketchbooks here in the middle. Just more more journals and sketchbooks. In the back are more paintbrushes, pencils for sketching, not for writing or journaling. Um, Beads, let's see, palettes, a bunch of fountain pen boxes because I like to keep my boxes after I start using my fountain pens in case I want to sell it in the future. And then these two, um, or four rather, drawers from Target. And so each one has a specific, I guess, theme more or less. This is where I have papers for journaling, postcards, just, those cards that come when you make a sticker order, those cute little printed postcards, those stay here, as well as just other random baggies that I deemed too cute to throw away. Here I have more fountain pen boxes. Again, sorry for the lighting. As well as note cards and greeting cards to send to pen pals. There is, let's see, here's more miscellaneous craft and tools, stamps, punches, tape. What else? Just, I know it's kind of like there's a method to the chaos. I know where things are. Here I have paint, gouache, watercolor, crayons, color pencils, supplies for coloring. And then in the very back, I have bookmaking and book binding tools. Those go here, mostly because it's a large drawer, and so certain things I know fit here. For example, that's a slimmer drawer, so all of my paper things go there. So that's the second cabinet, and then we'll go to the third one. The third one is the biggest hot mess because it's where I keep my printer, and I can print it kind of wirelessly, so I don't have to take it out. There's a hole in the back of the cabinet that we made so that it can plug directly to the wall. And so I have kind of printer supplies there, paper, and then kind of more just tools. There's my laminator, my foiling machine, cutters, my Cricut, my kind of bookbinding tools go down there. And because there is space on top of the printer, that's usually where I stash just stuff that needs to eventually get sorted and organized. And I also have my DSLR there. And so this has kind of become my kind of gadgets cabinet. So I will put that away. And so now that you've seen the kind of the mess that's in there, you understand why I like to keep that behind closed doors. Okay, so now that you've seen what I'm working with, I am going to set the camera up and then just start organizing. And I'll talk through some of the things that I'm doing, what I'm putting away, and just sit back and enjoy. I started out by removing all of the unnecessary supplies and stationery from out of the slide out drawer, and then making room for the wireless keyboard, mouse, trackpad, my laptop, and planner, and making sure that it's all neat inside. Then I grabbed my external hard drives and other tech that didn't really need to be there and put it back in the cabinet. I grabbed my sticker books and put them back where they belong. And sometimes it takes me a bit to figure out what it is that I'm doing, and I move piles from one end of the desk to the other, but once I get in the flow of things, it starts to move a little quicker. Always drink some water. Now to tackle this tiny drawer. It's a little difficult because it is such a small space. So putting the stamps in there and extra sticker books and ink pads is a bit of a game of Tetris to make sure that everything fits and nothing's gonna bump the top of the drawer once it's closed. So it takes a little bit of trial and error. So I'm trying to organize as many of these loose papers, stickers, postcards into this accordion folder that my friend recently gave me so that it can all stay together and isn't being knocked around in the drawer. And I still had a rubber stamp to put away, and so that one went into the tin can that goes on my shelf, along with this cute squishmallow beaver. And I'm taking some junk off of my desk and for now stashing it in the cabinet to organize later. This little ceramic basket holds just random tools that I reach for regularly, like my tape runner, glue stick, ruler, and just it's kind of a little catch-all. Um, Most of those things will stay there, but I did grab one of the glue sticks to put in the cabinet later. Next up is organizing my pouches and the planner tote. I started by taking everything out of this Coffee Monsters Co. pouch just so that I can see and remember what's actually in there, and then I can put it right back in. I have a planner meetup coming up, and so I wanted to make sure that I knew where those things were. In organizing my Delphonics pouch, I found a pen that I had been looking for all day yesterday, and so I put it where it's supposed to be. I've had this planner tote since the pandemic, I want to say, and I bought it off of Amazon, and it folds flat, which is great for storing when I'm not in need of a planner tote. But I usually keep it near me so that it can hold extra notebooks and pouches that I reach for. And finally, I stuffed some work stuff into my donut backpack and I hung that up in my coat closet. All right, so I am going to pause here because my desk is looking much better now. Um, Tabletop has been cleared, the drawers are back to organized, and what needs to be in there is in there, like my laptop and wireless keyboard, mouse, etc. So I am going to pause here and then I will tackle the cabinets in a bit because my battery is dying and I need to take a break. So stay tuned for more. Okay, it is now the next day, it's Sunday, and I am going to tackle the stationery cabinet over there on the right, and then possibly the art supply cabinet in the middle. The tech cabinet on the left, I'm just going to leave it for another time, especially because there's stuff in there that I need to shred and documents to organize. But for now, I'm just going to handle some of the stationery supplies that have become a bit of a mess. And yep, so let's get to that. This stationery cabinet is a catch-all for inks and new stationery, and just whenever something arrives, if I get a haul of washi tape, it kind of just piles up in there until I get to it. So I started off by making sure that there are no spaces in my washi drawers so that I can stuff in any extra ones that have been lying around, and just making sure that, you know, things are where they're supposed to be in those acrylic drawers. One of those sets was from Amazon, again during the pandemic back in 2020, and the other three were from Michael's that I got, I think, last year. These little sample holders were from Goulet Pens, and I got those when I kind of went crazy buying ink samples last year's summer. And so I'm just taking out all of the samples that have been emptied out so that I can make space for the new ones that I've received the last few months. I try and keep them organized by color family, but as my collection has grown, it's getting a little harder to stick to that. So I will definitely have to probably buy another one to stack on top of those three. Next, I am playing Tetris again, and I am stacking in the full bottles that I have received. I only had a handful, maybe 5 bottles, up until the summer, and then I really increased my collection after going to the pen shows. My fear is that one day I'm going to open these cabinet doors and it's all going to have fallen apart. But knock on wood, for now, it has been just fine. And I'm definitely going to have to think of some other solution for the future. Here I'm swapping out some tools and ink swatching items and putting them into a Ziploc bag that is not torn. And next, just the last bits of stationery that I keep at the top there. Now I'm moving on to the bottom shelf, which is where I keep notebooks and planners from years past, as well as other, planner covers. This little Hubman and Chub Girl travel box is where I keep some sticker books that I don't really use and I have been slowly destashing over time, whereas this other Hubman and Chub Girl box has washi tapes and other stationery that I've also been destashing at planner meetups and bringing to pen shows whenever there's a stationery swap. These two plastic containers hold overflow washi. These are either washi designs that I don't use all the time, but I still like to keep in my collection, as well as duplicates of certain rolls from Coffee Monsters Co. or Every Minute a Story. And in that little crate in the front, I put in pencil pouches and just more covers. That stays in the front just because it's easy to remove because it has handles. And I'm just slowly collecting trash, putting things aside, things to throw away, things to mail out to a friend in a care package, and just kind of making sure that whatever I stash in front of those acrylic drawers at the top are not going to be annoying to remove every time I need to access those drawers. All right, so I just finished semi-organizing the stationery cabinet, and I definitely need to figure out better storage solutions for my inks, because when I'm trying to get to the sample inks, it's a pain in the butt. But it is what it is for now. These are, I mean, I didn't need to touch those. I know where everything is. I try to fit more washi tapes wherever I found space. And again, I'll probably get another little sample vial case in the future, because I have a couple of more ink samples in here. Not that many, but they are there. And yeah, so this I'll have to figure out where to store again. At least these drawers are not things that I access all the time. But since I have washi tape in there now, it is a little bit of a pain every time I have to move these out of the way. But at least I got rid of this box that had inks, so that's not bulking up the space. And then down here, everything was pretty much where it needed to be. I just took off some things I needed to throw away. My planner covers are back there. I have my pouches. So yeah, I mean, I think this is as good as it's gonna be for now. And yeah, so let's move on to the next cabinet. Next up is my art cabinet. I start by taking out some of that junk in the front, many of which do not even need to be there. I have another walk-in closet with some baskets that has other hobby supplies, and so a good chunk of those things that are in the front there are gonna go there, as well as a stack of postcards and mail that I need to send off to friends. I am organizing my stack of watercolor pads and sketchbooks, making sure that everything is upright. Things tend to start to shift after a while, especially when I move some of those jars of pencils and brushes, which is what happened when my friend was over for our art date last weekend. I have so many mini sketchbooks and watercolor supplies that they're too cute to get rid of or give away. They're not at all complete, but I do like having different kinds of paper to play with. Next, I am going to tackle the bottom shelf. The bottom shelf is a hodgepodge of boxes. It's particularly fountain pen boxes that are empty. I like to keep them just because, I might need them down the line for whatever reason. There are little books and other tutorials, printouts, things that I like to refer back to, mostly resources, in the very back corner there that I'm trying to stuff things on top of. This bottom left drawer has more boxes of pencils, Blackwing, fountain pen boxes as well, tiny little watercolor notepads that I bought long ago, as well as wooden stamps, wax seal beads, and wax seal stamps, as well as a bunch of stationery and cards all the way in the back. Those will stay as they are. I'm more concerned with making sure that the things in the front are not going to fall out through those slits. I do love that I can see directly inside the drawers, but maybe I should have gone with some acrylic situation so that I'm not constantly poking and shoving things back in through the slits so they don't fall out. And these drawers were also bought at Target back when I moved 2 years ago. Making sure that everything fits just right and is level is always a bit of a trial and error. But once you get it right, it's so satisfying how everything fits neatly into these drawers. Here I am trying to figure out where to put these sets of water brushes that my friend gifted me when she came over. And although I really wanted to put them with my other brushes at the top there in those jars, I decided to just keep them neatly tucked away in this drawer since they're just nicely packaged, and I didn't think that it would fit in those jars that I have in the top right. Now this top drawer has flat items like sticker pockets and stationery postcards, bean cards from the Coffee Monsters Co., vellum, just other random pretty paper that I use either inside my plastic covers or to send off. I definitely turn to this drawer when I'm setting up my planners, but for the most part, it's pretty neat and I know what's in there. This one at the bottom right has coloring supplies, like I mentioned before, and it's chock full of things, so it takes a bit to shove it back into place. And with that, I think this art cabinet is as good as it's gonna be. All right, so I am done with the art cabinet. I just kind of make sure all of these sketchbooks and pads are we're organized. I kind of cleared this out. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to go elsewhere in the house. So I cleared that out. And then these, for the most part, pretty organized. I know where things are. This is the one that I needed to organize the most, just because it has, you know, like fountain pen boxes and just other miscellaneous boxes that were very clunky and a little messed up in there. This at some point, these are kind of my postcards and pouches, just other stationery, flat stationery. Uh, at some point, I'll have to destash, go through that, and make a pile of things to give away because I've not been using that. Uh, I'm just noticing there are some more postcards in here. Let me see if I can just stash that in here for now. There we go. I mean, the best way to destash stationery is to actually mail it out to people. Let me see if I can stuff this in here. Perfect. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for just organizing with me. I will say it takes 3 times as long when you're filming the process than when if you're just doing it on a regular day. But I have to get ready because I have a planner meetup in a couple of hours, and so I need to pack for that. I'm not going to take too much, but just happy to have gotten this out of the way. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.